Have you ever felt like you entered someone's life, and everything became more intense, yet also more confusing? As if your presence turned on a light that this person didn't want to see, and at the same time, they can no longer turn it off? The angels asked me to remind you, you were not sent by chance. It wasn't a coincidence, nor a distraction from fate. You were an answer. The prayer that this person couldn't articulate. You were the one who arrived. And now that you're here, everything inside him trembles. He tries to carry on with life as before, but he can no longer pretend that nothing has changed. Because it has. Your energy touched something sacred and forgotten within him. And that scares him more than he could admit. The angels say, you were sent to break down the walls he built with pain. Not with force, but with presence. That's why sometimes you feel like your soul is exhausted, as if you're carrying the weight of a mission you don't fully understand. Because you are. This person didn't see just beauty or affection in you. He saw a mirror. He saw truth. And he still doesn't know what to do with it. You entered where no one has gone before, into the place where he hid the most fragile parts of his soul. That's why he pulls away. That's why he comes back. Because it's not about you. It's about the battle that this connection awakened within him. You were placed on this path with a purpose, to awaken in him the memory of a love that heals, not a love that hurts. Your mission is not to convince him of anything. It's to be presence, to be light, to be a path. And even if he doesn't understand it now, even if he still doesn't know how to name what he feels, your energy has already transformed him. And that, my dear, is spiritual. You hem me in behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Psalm 139 verse 5. This connection didn't start here. It has only manifested now. But it has always existed. And it has always been sacred. He didn't distance himself because he doesn't feel. He pulled away because he feels too much, and doesn't know how to handle it. The angel showed me a heart at war, not with you, but with himself. There is a wound that this person carries, an old silent one, disguised as strength. A pain that taught him that love is dangerous, that opening up is a risk, that trusting is a luxury he can't afford. So when you arrived, with your soul so clear, so alive, so whole, everything within him screamed. Not out of rejection, but out of fear. He feels small in the face of your courage, fragile in the presence of your intensity, insecure in the light of your spirit. And what does a wounded heart do when it feels too seen? It flees. It builds walls. It hides behind confusing, distant, contradictory behaviors. But don't be mistaken. His distance is not coldness. It's self-protection. The angels say, he learned to survive by protecting himself from feeling. But you made him remember how dangerous, and at the same time wonderful, it is to live with an open heart. You may have felt that you did something wrong, that you gave too much of yourself, that you spoke too much, that you hoped too much. But the truth is, your soul touched his in a way no one else could. And that doesn't heal with logic. It doesn't heal with promises. Only time and the courage to feel can heal this kind of blockage. You are a living invitation for him to reconcile with parts of himself he has always avoided. But be careful, sensitive soul. This is not your burden. You didn't come to save him. You came to ignite him. His healing is his responsibility. Your role is not to dim your light in an attempt to lessen its impact on him. The angels ask, do not shrink away. He needs to feel the brilliance you bring, even if it scares him. Because even scared, he realized, no one has ever looked at him the way you did. No one has ever seen beyond the armor. No one has ever spoken to his soul like you have, in silence, with presence, with truth. And that's why he hides, but he never forgets you. You gave yourself completely, but at some point, you forgot to include yourself in the love you were offering. How many times did you silence your intuition to avoid losing the connection? How many times did you put off your desires, canceled your own rhythms, and molded yourself to fit the space he had available? The angel showed me, a woman who carries the world on her shoulders, but who forgot to carry herself with the same care. They whisper, "True love doesn't require you to disappear. It flourishes when you remain." Perhaps you believed that taking care of him was proof of love. But who takes care of you? Who comforts your longing when he disappears? Who holds your hand when he's confused? Who whispers for you to come back when you get lost trying to find him? Your heart is generous, yes. But it wasn't made to live on crumbs. It was made to pulse with abundance, not waiting. You didn't come to Earth to be a background character in anyone's life. You are a temple. You are a home. You are a destination, not an escape route. And taking care of yourself is not abandonment. It's spiritual wisdom. It's understanding that we can only love others without losing ourselves. When we learn to remain whole. The angels say, she forgot that the light he admires so much comes from the fire she ignites when she chooses herself. So now, my dear, ignite. Return to yourself with the same strength you once used to seek him. Revisit your dreams. Reclaim your joy. Breathe deeply without guilt. Because the love that is yours won't leave you for being well. On the contrary, it will be attracted to your wholeness. And if he doesn't know how to keep up with your light, may he at least learn not to try to extinguish it. Remember, a well-tended heart is not less available. It is more genuine. More steadfast, more magnetic. It is when you prioritize yourself that the energy of love begins to seek you in the right place, within you. You were not just a presence. You were a revelation. There's nothing more uncomfortable for someone who lives in hiding than encountering someone who shines effortlessly. The angels say, your soul is a mirror, and it saw things there that he tried to hide from himself his whole life. It wasn't your words that first touched him. It was your gaze. The way you saw him, beyond the layers, beyond the attitudes, beyond the masks, made him see himself in a way he wasn't ready for. And that hurts. Not because you hurt him, but because you revealed what still needs to be healed. You became a reflection of everything he avoided: sensitivity, surrender, vulnerability, pure love. And that's why, at times, he avoids you. Not out of rejection, but because looking at you forces him to look within. And inside, he still finds ghosts he can't name. The angels showed me that your presence disorganized certainties. It brought down defenses. It dismantled the character he maintained. You showed him that he doesn't have to be tough to be strong. That he doesn't have to hide what he feels to be respected. But not everyone is ready for that kind of truth. Some prefer lukewarm loves, because the intense ones demand courage. And you are fire. You are truth that cuts through. Even in silence, you showed him a more sincere path. And even if he hasn't walked it yet, he can no longer pretend he didn't see. The angels whisper, he returns to you in thought when everything is quiet. Because you are the truest mirror he has ever encountered. But no mirror can force someone to see themselves. Your role is not to convince him to change. It is to continue being the truth that transforms. Simply by existing. He may run away. He may deny. He may even try to replace you. But he will never find another reflection that shows so clearly what his soul came to seek. He still doesn't understand what he's feeling. But he's started to realize that the world hasn't been the same since you arrived. Everything within him has become clearer, more vibrant, more urgent. The angels say, she didn't knock on the door of his heart. She entered like the wind, gentle, yet impossible to contain. And that wind is spreading light to places he's kept locked for years. Have you noticed? The signs are there. In the way he looks at you with more silence than before. In the way his messages are filled with pauses and hesitations. It's the awakening. He can't explain it, but he feels it. His heart has begun to speak louder than reason, and that confuses him. Because for so long, he protected himself from love as if love were a threat. But now, you've come with something different. It wasn't drama. It wasn't pressure. It was soul. You didn't demand anything. You just brought presence. And that has affected him more than any promise. You offered a kind of love that doesn't imprison, it illuminates. That doesn't invade, it reveals. And that's why he's changing. No, he still doesn't know what to do with all of this. But he is feeling. The angels show, in his silence you dwell. And in each silence, he comes a little closer. Transformation isn't always loud. Sometimes, it happens in small renunciations. In the way he seeks you out, even when he swears he won't. In the way he talks about you, even when he tries to hide it. You've awakened a desire in him that goes beyond the surface. A longing that precedes the meeting. He's starting to understand that it's not about choosing you, but recognizing that he's already chosen, even against his will. The awakening is slow, but inevitable. And you are the breeze that precedes the storm of love he tried to avoid. But now it flows through him. You sense when he gets close, and you feel even more when he pulls away. It's as if his heart is stuck in a back and forth that you can't control, and deep down neither can he. The angels say, he doesn't leave because he wants to. He leaves because he doesn't know how to stay. This fluctuation that confuses you, it's a reflection of a soul that hasn't yet learned to sustain what it feels. He comes back because he misses you. And he steps away because he's afraid. And you, caught in the middle of this cycle, start to doubt yourself. You begin to wonder if you did something wrong, if you should have been colder, tougher, more distant. But love isn't a strategy. Love is presence. And your presence has been the greatest challenge he has ever faced. Because when he meets you, he realizes he's no longer in control. And someone who has spent their life trying to control everything to avoid getting hurt sees love as a risk, not a refuge. He approaches when the longing screams, but retreats when the intensity scares him. The angels whisper, this distance isn't absence. It's an internal struggle. It's an attempt to protect his heart from something he feels is greater than he can contain. You might think he doesn't know what he wants, but he does. What he still doesn't know is if he deserves it. That's why he comes back. That's why he runs away. That's why he's indecisive. It's the cycle of resistance. It's the fear of fully loving colliding with the desire to finally be whole with someone. And you have become the point of collision between these two worlds. But listen, it's not your role to break this cycle. Your role is to recognize that you're not here to be spun around aimlessly. You are the center. You are the root. The angels ask, stay strong in your light. Because when he stops running, it will be your presence he seeks. And what if he doesn't stop? You will still be light. You will still be love. You will still be everything he recognized, even if he couldn't stay. Because true love isn't proven by another's permanence. It's proven by your own. There is a kind of love that doesn't require a response. It simply touches and heals. And that's what you did. Without promising anything. Without demanding anything. You offered your presence, and that was enough to move mountains within him. The angels say, she didn't heal him with words. She healed him by the way she existed. To exist, in your way, was the remedy. Because he had gotten used to loves that demanded, that pressured, that confined. But you came with silence, and your silence said, I'm here, even if you're not ready. That disarms. That unsettles. And little by little, that heals. Every time he felt he didn't have to hide by your side, a part of him was restored. You didn't have all the answers, and you didn't need to. You had something rarer, the gaze that welcomes without judging, the touch that respects boundaries, the soul that understands the pain even before hearing the story. The love you gave wasn't a surface-level love. It was a love with roots. And even if he couldn't stay, he took every gesture of yours with him, as if they were bombs saved for the days when his heart would feel too tightly wound. The angels show me that he returns in memory. On gray days, in moments of uncertainty, it's you he seeks in thought, not out of habit, but out of necessity. Because where there was only pain, you were relief. You healed without knowing. You healed with your lightness, with your strength, with your faith. And even if he still doesn't understand this clearly, his heart knows. He knows there's something in you that can't be found again. And if it is the will of the higher power that he returns, it will be for recognition, not out of absence. Because true love is not the one that begs for a place. It's the one that remains, inside, even when it's outside. There is a time to plant, and a time to trust in what has been planted. And you have arrived at the time of trust. If everything feels uncertain now, if his silence weighs more than ever, it is not absence. It's divine pause. The angels say, not everything that is still is lost. Sometimes, it is the heavens organizing the invisible. This connection, this story, this bond that you share, everything is being orchestrated by hands you cannot see, yet they support you. Do you feel it? Deep down in your soul, there's a certainty that defies explanation, that there is still something to be lived. And even when the mind tries to give up, even when pride screams to move on, the heart whispers, just wait a little longer. Because something inside you knows that this connection is not ordinary, that this feeling is not an illusion. It is spiritual. And being spiritual, it follows a timeline that is not your own. It is God's timing. The angels show that this pause is healing. For you. For him. For everything that needs to be realigned before the reunion. They ask you, trust. Even without signs. Even without promises. Even without guarantees. Because when heaven intervenes, silence is part of the plan. Something is being prepared. Something that cannot yet be put into words. Something that requires faith. And faith isn't waiting with a smile. It's waiting while feeling pain, and yet not giving up. You've been guided to this point. Every step, every encounter, every gesture, everything was written in the script of your soul. And if love still pulses inside you, it's because it is still alive, even if dormant in the other. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. Proverbs 3 verse 5. You are not lost. You are being led. And when everything seems dark, remember this, even silence is an answer, when it comes from above. He desired you in silence, and hid the very moment he did. Because wanting you meant stripping down the walls, tearing down the shields, admitting that he felt, and that is almost unbearable for him. The angels say, he learned to survive without showing himself. But loving requires the nakedness of the soul. And that is what paralyzes. You touched him in a place where no one has ever reached. A place where the fear of being left resides, the fear of not being enough, the fear of loving, and being broken. That's why he hesitates. That's why he disappears. That's why he returns. It's a confusing dance between desire and defense. He feels, and he feels deeply. But he doesn't know if he can. He doesn't know if he should. He doesn't know if he can handle it. You might think that he's at peace, that he has moved on, that he has forgotten you. But the angels show me a heart in turmoil. He thinks of you before bed, and wakes up trying not to think about you anymore. You've become part of the questions he avoids. Because loving you is being confronted with the need to allow himself to feel. And he still doesn't know if he can cross that bridge without falling. You represent everything he dreamed of, and everything he feared. The truth is that he isn't running away from you. He's running away from what he feels beside you. Because next to you, he can't pretend. He can't be half. He can't keep the armor on. And that makes him more vulnerable than ever before. The angels ask you, don't interpret his silence as a lack of love. Interpret it as a lack of courage. You deserve someone who chooses you without fear. But you also deserve to understand that not everyone has the tools to love like you do. He's still learning to exist with an open heart. And maybe, just maybe, he needs to get lost before he understands that you are the way. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Psalm 56 verse 3. Trust that what is true always finds a way to return. Not always by the quickest route, but always by the most honest one. There comes a point in the journey when the heart no longer needs answers. It needs peace. And this is where you arrive. After so much trying to understand, after waiting for signs, after molding yourself to the silence of the other, now it's time to let go. Not as one who gives up, but as one who trusts. The angels say, she didn't let go because she got tired. She let go because she understood. She understood that love cannot be begged for. That reciprocity cannot be forced. That what is meant to be doesn't demand inhuman effort. You did everything you could, and then some. Loved with courage. Waited with patience. Believed even when reason suggested to stop believing. And now, the angels whisper, rest. You have given enough. Now it's up to heaven. Accepting is not giving up on him. It's choosing yourself. It's stopping the habit of shrinking yourself to fit where another doesn't yet know how to love. It's recognizing that your light deserves to be embraced, not fought against. If it's love, it will come back. And if it doesn't come back, it's because the love you offered was too great to be lived in a small space. You haven't lost. You overflowed. You healed. You gave what you valued most, your whole soul. And that is never in vain. The angels show that, even without knowing it, you changed destinies, opened internal doors, awakened truths. And all of this returns in the form of blessings, of encounters, of love that embraces, not that frightens. Because now you know, it's not about who stays. It's about who sees you. And those who see your light would never confuse you with darkness. And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God. Romans 8 verse 28. You loved. You were a channel of healing. And now, you are free. Free to be loved back, with the same wholeness you gave. Free to be chosen, without having to ask.